I think it's become very obvious that a lot of young Americans have been having a rough time with the job market as it is. And I feel like the previous generations did not prepare Gen Z at all for what the modern day job market was going to be like or is like today. And, you know, Gen Z especially has been holding the shortest end of the stick for a long time, with having to graduate college into a pandemic, and now AI is being said that it could do entry level jobs. I think, clearly a lot of us could not have predicted what it was going to be like today. And I think there's going to be a divide between people who are going to continue trying to trial and error their way through the job market. And then there's going to be an avenue of people who are going to find new ways of gaining wealth and, navigating the economy in that way. And there's going to be another group of people who are going to completely crash out. And that is one thing that I want to avoid on this channel. We do not want to crash out. But, we have a good example of what it's like for someone to just completely crash out as a result of this job market. And I think, I've prepared a few videos that would be very relatable to what people are, experiencing in today's day and age. But yeah, this video has been going viral for a while. So yeah, let's see what happens when this lady's in her 40s. She's just turning 40 now, and she feels like, she just completely messed up. She did not she did not do anything with her life. So let's see what she says.
Here and everything is just hitting me right now. It's like not where I wanted to be. I haven't succeeded at anything. I haven't even tried. Like, I don't even know anymore. I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to cope with anything. And I don't know how to, I did this whole growing thing wrong. Like I'm supposed to be an adult. I'm supposed to be able to handle these things, and I can't handle anything.
Yeah, no. Clearly she is very distraught. And she's on crash out mode. That is not what we want to be doing with our lives right now, crashing out. But 40, in the grand scheme of things, 40 is pretty young. A lot can be done between the years 40 and 50 to completely change your life in a 10-year span. But yeah, let's let this lady let her voice be heard.
And I literally am just realizing, like, it's been 40 years of this, and like it's 40 years of just being confused and not knowing and like figuring things out slower and like not like I haven't built anything. I have nothing like to show for this time. I just don't know what I'm doing here, and I'm lost. I'm afraid, and
Yeah, and that's pretty much where that video ends. And I think this is a very uncomfortable conversation for a lot of us. A lot of us feel like we have not been able to do what we needed to do at the point that they are in their lives right now. A lot of us feel like they're getting nothing done, essentially. They're not building that legacy that they foresaw themselves building when they were younger. And, yeah, of course, something like that, it would make you crash out. Like, you spent 40, or it feels like you spent 40 years of your lives doing essentially nothing. Which, I don't know exactly what this lady has been doing. I don't know where she is in her career path, but that's not what we want for ourselves, okay? We don't want to feel like that we've done nothing. We gone through half of our lives and essentially did nothing with our lives. That's not what we want to do. And that's why I'm saying that there's going to be a divide of people who are stuck with what we've been given in our lives, stuck in the environment that we were given, and, just playing with the cards that they were dealt that way. Or there's going to be the other group of people, which I mentioned before, who are going to be seeking the new paths and building wealth that way. And I think that would be the better path. If the jobs that you're given aren't doing it for you, there's a myriad of ways. We have the internet, we have online ways of making money online that, a lot of people feel like they get stuck in the comfortability of like working that W-2 9 to 5 job. And that job isn't always going to be there. That life, the things that we've been given in our life, we've been shown time and time again that there isn't always security in that. And you know, that's what we ultimately want for our lives, is security. And this lady, clearly, she's feeling very insecure right now. And you know that once you find a way to build your own security, through self-employment and things like that, I think life goes a lot better for you. So it's a risky path to take, but like once you make that leap and once you make that success for yourself, you won't end up like how she is, crying in her car in her 40s. But yeah, no, 40 is still young. And I just wanted to speak on that real quick. That video is like going kind of popular, viral lately, and I had some thoughts about it that I wanted to share with you guys. But let's get more into job experiences that people are having.
Honestly, why are people even getting degrees and going into debt nowadays when we can't even get the most basic level jobs? I just saw this TikTok and it was like, do you need a master's degree to be a receptionist because no one's hiring?
Yeah, no, I've been back when I was like really on the job search, like right straight out of college. That was a difficult time because we didn't know the pandemic was going to happen in like right after 2019. But I was going for jobs that they didn't even pay money for. I was going for jobs that would just give me hours in dance class. I was going to get like admission to like free dance classes. And even that had like a wait list, and I wasn't really eligible for, with a bachelor's in dance. I had a major in that field, and I was just, you run into things like that, and you realize like how messed up things are. But let's let this lady continue. You work hard for many years for these degrees that are supposed to give you, the advantage over others. That's what they were telling us back in high school. Like, you're going to need this degree in order to land a good job. And then you end up, spending 4 years for that degree, and then you work at McDonald's. Like, you might as well have not went to college in the first place if that's what the market was going to be when you got out of college. And yeah, they didn't tell us that. We were fed some sort of, propaganda that, I don't know if to call it propaganda per se, but the way life was back in the day is not how it is today, and I think a lot of people need to realize that now. It's a hard leap to make, but, gotta make that leap eventually. And now this lady talks about something that I feel like has been going on recently with LinkedIn and Indeed and all these jobs where you have to like provide a lot of information about yourself, and then there's like job posting on this site, and then you just like have to apply to that job. Sometimes it's automatically, sometimes you have to go to their website from LinkedIn. But yeah, let's let this lady tell it.
There's this really crazy theory going on right now because Indeed and all these job search websites have thousands of jobs that say they're hiring, but everyone that's applying is not getting hired. And some guy actually did a test where they had hundreds of people fill out applications and no one hired them or got a call back. And so the running theory is that they're using all people's data and selling it to bigger companies. So when you send all your information in, like your first name, your last name, where you're located, your resume, where you've been, they're taking that information and selling it to bigger companies.
Yeah, totally plausible. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they're doing, but what else would be going on with willingly giving your information and getting nothing in return? It makes you wonder, like, if you're not getting hired for these jobs, your information is out there in the public on LinkedIn, kind of uncomfortable. I was seeing stories where, these women would put their information on LinkedIn, and then they would get stalked by some guy. Like they would find out where they're working at, like some barista position, and then they would say, "Hey, I saw you on LinkedIn." It's kind of scary, like how much information they actually have, and it's just out there on LinkedIn. But yeah, she's almost finished.
And holding on to it, because right now data is the new gold, and that's kind of scary. What do you think?
Yeah, data is the new gold. Companies make a lot of money with your data, especially with trying to sell you products online. If they have a lot of information about you, they know exactly what you want. Yeah, that's the dangers with just putting your information out there for anyone to see. That's only with Web 2. If you're in Web 3, which involves things like the blockchain and crypto, they're trying to make a workaround that. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole other video. I'm a crypto guy. I love crypto. So conversations like that, like about info and data, they intrigue me.
I graduated from NYU with a degree in math and computer science, and I cannot find a job. And I just want to come on here and ask for any advice. What if you do have a degree in math or computer science or both, like myself? What are you doing now, and how did you get into it? A little bit of background about myself. Both my parents are doctors, so I have no way to rely on my parents to get me a job.
Yeah, that's rough when both of your parents are in doctor careers. I mean, clearly they expect her to build a nice cushy career for herself as well, especially with 2 degrees. I think there was like a big push for people to get CS degrees, which is computer science, and then now the computer science job market is pretty oversaturated right now, so it's hard to find a job there. So I think a lot of like CS degree students or graduates are having to make a pivot through this new market that they've landed themselves in. But yeah, let's let this lady keep talking.
Like most people in this industry. So I don't know. Like, I've tried networking with people. I've tried networking with my friends. My friends are very snake-like. Like, they don't want to give me a referral. They don't want to help me out in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. That's just what the engineering crew is like. But I feel like it's just so difficult to get a job. I do leak code every single day. I apply to 50 jobs a week. I have a tracker, and I've been trying my very, very bestest. And I'm applying.
Yeah, no. When it comes to referrals, a lot of what helps people land jobs is networking and referrals. People like to be stingy about their referrals. I had even college professors be like, you better not use me as a referral because they didn't want me making them look bad, I guess. People are stingy about that. But, networking is apparently it's key, which is why, I did a video previously about how I went to Tech Week in New York to network a little bit. But, yeah, let's keep going.
Applying to master's school right now, but I just feel like I don't know if a master's is even worth it. If I'll be honest, I've tried to apply to jobs with pretending I have a master's, pretending I have all these certifications, and even then I don't get any interviews. So I mean, with my current background with just a bachelor's degree, it's like I graduate next semester, so I'm desperately looking for advice. And if you are in the New York area, can I take you out for a cup of coffee or something? I am also looking to network and get advice. I don't want a referral. If you can provide one after you meet me, sure, why not? But I genuinely just want some advice because I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I feel like I'm trying my bestest. I'm studying so hard. I retained all the information I did in school. I have projects. I did briefly drop out of school, took a leave of absence and started a multi-million-dollar business. And now I'm back, and I do want to continue pursuing engineering, and I really don't know what's going on. I don't know. Tell me, guys.
Yeah, so it seems like this lady, she did say she started a multi-million-dollar business, so I got questions about that. But, it seems like she's midway into, the struggle of what that 40-year-old lady is going to turn into. Although she started her own business, I don't think she's completely on that path. Makes you wonder what's going on with that situation. Why is she going back to seek a W-2 job? Sorry. Why is she seeking a W-2 job when she already, started a business apparently? But yeah, let's let this new lady, she just quit her job. Okay, so this is what I mean by there's going to be a group of people just like completely quitting the jobs and, you know, seeking new avenues of making wealth. But I don't know what she exactly is doing as a result of quitting. So maybe she's doing nothing. But yeah, let's let her voice be heard.
I had to pull over to make this because I just quit my corporate job and I have no idea what's next. I have no idea how I'm going to make money or what I'm going to do or what it's going to look like. But I have never felt more like confident in myself, self-assured, and like aligned in what I'm doing. And I just know that the next chapter of my life does not include LinkedIn or like corporate all hands or anything like that. And I'm willing to give myself the space to figure that out.
Yeah, no, yeah, so it seems like she's going to pursue, you know, that entrepreneur life, which is a very difficult leap to make. And I feel like you can only pursue entrepreneurship after you quit or get fired in some way. Like I think like almost every story starts that way. Like they quit their job, or they just got fired some way, and then they started, you know, getting that motivation to pursue this new path. You know, so that's good for her. I hope she gets successful in that. But yeah, let's let her feelings come into the air.
And it's scary. And I'm moving back to Texas, and I don't know what my life is going to look like, but I know in my soul that I'm going to look back on this in a year and be like, that was the best decision you've ever made in your life. And I think there's two ways to kind of live your life. You can either wait for life to kind of blow up and move you in the direction that you need, or you move in the way that life wants you to go. And I feel like I'm doing that, and I'm so proud of myself. And I'm so excited for my future, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but I just know it doesn't involve a corporate life. And if you've wanted to quit your 9-to-5, but you don't know what life would look like, or you don't know what it would look like to bet on yourself, I'll be the fucking guinea pig. I'll figure it out, and I'll document it along the way. But it feels really expansive. It feels really exciting, and I'm so excited to see what my life looks like in a couple of months, or even like a couple of years. And if you're in the Austin, Texas area and you like my vibe, let's hang.
Okay, we're not in the Austin, Texas area. But yeah, I think that is the perfect way to think about this kind of new path, that if you're thinking about it, pursuing this path, time is going to pass regardless. Okay, if you're worried about time, if you're thinking about your future, no matter what you do in your life, whether you're doing the W-2 job 9-to-5 or entrepreneurship or doing nothing, time is going to pass. So you might as well be using that time to build something for yourself that you could use to sustain your own life. I think that's a good way to think about it. That lady wants to be a guinea pig. Good for her. I'm glad that she has made that leap. But let's go on to this next video. Let this guy cook.
How do we tell our parents that there's no job anymore? Serious question. How do we tell our parents and get them to understand that the world has changed? I'm so tired of people older than me and my parents telling me, yo, you can just go get a job. Just go get a job. Where are these jobs at? Where they at? If y'all know where the jobs at, somebody let me know. Somebody's got to let these older people know that life is not the same. It is not the way it was when y'all grew up. Life has changed. I can't do it.
Yeah, no. Clearly, he's also, you know, that is a weird conversation that you gotta have with your older generations. You know, a lot of our parents, you know, when they see you not working the regular 9-to-5 job, they almost like, I don't know, they have like a sort of pessimism with what other thing you could be doing with your life. But the thing is, you know, the older generations probably wouldn't understand in the first place. You know, we have to experiment with new actions in this modern day and do things that our parents would not even be able to, you know, comprehend. So yeah, this guy's talking about like how do we tell our parents that there's no more jobs? Like, you know, some of you probably have parents telling you to go get a job if you're unemployed. But you know, times are changing. You know, things aren't like what they once were.
You know, one.
concept that I cannot get behind is the fact that we're brainwashed into working in corporate America from the time that we graduate college, so around 21, 22 years old, all the way into our 60s, where you're going to a place and working 8 hours a day at a place that you don't want to be to earn a paycheck that barely covers some people's living expenses. You have to slave away for 5 out of a 7-day week. Okay? 5 days you're slaving away out of 7 days. You get 1 day off where you can kind of kick back and relax. And that following day that you get off, you're thinking about all the things that you have to do to reset and regroup for the following week. For what?
Yeah. You're working. This is basically a third of your life working, you know? And when you're not working, you're worrying about the next time you're going to work. You know, it's a quite a sucky cycle. You know, it sucks. And this girl is laying it down. She's cooking right now. Yeah, no, she's laying it out for you. You know, and I always feel like that on the weekend. Like, I could barely enjoy my Saturday because on Sunday I'm worrying all day about going back to work on Monday. You know, I did this in college too. You know, my mind kind of works in weird ways. But yeah, let's continue.
Just to make it to 60. And at that point, you know, God willing, you don't have any illnesses, you don't have any diseases, you're 100% healthy, and then you can reap the benefits of everything that you just did for the last 40, 50 years. I cannot wrap my head around it. It is a brainwashing system that our country has put us into this warp where we think this is normal. And I can't explain the amount of joy that I get when I see younger and younger generations waking up to the fact that maybe college isn't the way that you're supposed to go into. Maybe college is not the only option that you have, that you can start your own business, you can work multiple different side hustles, but it doesn't have to be this routine of graduating, getting yourself in debt, paying off that debt until you're dead.
Yeah, no, she's pointing out all the facts, like and it is a joy to see like people who don't go to college and decide to do the entrepreneurial path. But yeah, working all the way to 60 for, you know, a life that life might change again by the time you get to age 60. We might not have 401ks anymore. There might not be pension plans. You know, our government officials are saying that they're pushing the retirement age up. I think they said to 75, or was it from 75 on to 80? Yeah, they're saying that they got to change retirement age. Life might, like, we didn't even, well, I mean, there were like suspicions that they would do something like that, but you know, take that example and envision how it's going to be life in the future. Like, you know, there might not even be America in by the time you're 60. You know, she's laying it down, but yeah, let's let her finish.
Slaving away for a company that you don't even want to work for, making someone else richer while you're barely making enough money to get by. People nowadays are not having kids till later and later and later in life because they can't afford to. People can't buy homes because they can't afford to. The starting wages are barely covering living expenses in the majority of America. People graduate college with $80, $90, $100,000 in debt on average, and they're offered a job with a bachelor's degree that's making them $40,000, $50,000 a year. How are you supposed to do anything with that amount of money when a carton of eggs costs $7 Anyone that can get out of the rat race, kudos to fucking you.
Yeah, no. It doesn't make sense. I mean, what she said makes sense, but the way that we pursue life, college, get into loans and debts, you know, should you even be able to take out a loan straight out of college? Like, if that's what you have to do to be in college, like, I heard someone say this once, and it made a lot of sense. They said, colleges aren't really schools. They're actually in the business of banking. You know, because banks, you know, you always have to take out a loan for banks, and banks make money off the interest because you take a long time to actually pay those loans. So yeah, colleges are essentially the same thing. They make money off of the debts that the students have to go into more than the actual, you know, teaching. Um, so
So
yeah.
I'm
So this girl, I don't know if we're gonna finish this video, but this girl, like the beginning part, she's talking about her sentiments of, you know, quitting corporate America at the age of 25, which, you know, I think a lot of people watching this channel are 25, so you may be able to relate. She talks very quietly, so
So I'm turning 25 this year.
you know what? We not she talks way too quiet. I'm not. Maybe I should just skip this one. Yeah, let's let. He looks like Gen X, millennial. No, that's Gen X. Yeah.
There are people whose job is literally to do nothing. Every day, hundreds of thousands of Americans go into work, they sit there for 8 hours, they do nothing, and they go home. And at the end of the week, they collect a paycheck. Some of these people make as much as 6 figures. Some of them make even more. Literally. These people sit in their office, they do nothing all day long, and then they go home. And they're still on the payroll. How does this happen? Usually these are people who fall through the cracks somehow. Oftentimes this is the result of a merger. Two companies will come together and certain roles will be made redundant. Certain people will get fired, the companies will identify roles that don't need to be there, but along the way, some people just fall through the cracks, unnoticed. Their role is completely unnecessary, they don't do anything, they don't report to anybody, but they remain on the payroll. They stay at their job. They stay at their job for years, doing nothing at all. Bring home a paycheck every week. There are hundreds of thousands of people who do this.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice to just be working a job like that? You know, just not being noticed in the office. Like you get to sit on a chair all day in air conditioner and just, you know, collect that paycheck at the end of the day. I think, you know, I feel like there's some companies that do this on purpose though. Like, you know, maybe the boss just likes the person like personally, like, you know, that's sort of like how networking works. Like it's sort of like that personability. So yeah, maybe they just may feel bad, or maybe those jobs are sort of necessary, like just to have people like pushing the economy along, you know. You know, there's many things that we could go about to say about that, but I think this is the last video on the chopping block. Yeah, this one's pretty short. Let's go.
How in the hell were people spending 20 years at a job? I don't have 5. I've never been at a place 5 fucking years. 20? Double digits? How were they even able to mentally do the same thing over and over and over and over and over for 20 years every day? Same conversation, same job, same routine.
Yeah, no, I could not picture myself working a job, the same job, 20 years. You know, it takes a special type of person to do that. I feel like they're sort of NPCs in a way. You know, no inner monologue, no inner narrative in their head, just like going through the job every day. And you know, maybe this person has a plan. You know, who are we to judge? They might have a glamorous, elaborate plan of working the job 20 years, and you know, somehow that's gonna pay off, you know, the rest of their life, you know. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what your thoughts are on what the job market is right now. Are you guys struggling? You know, is it sucky for you? And I think I need to make videos like this to emphasize the importance of seeking the new opportunities that I try to display for you guys on this channel. You know, I'm trying to show you guys that there's more out there to life than, you know, what's given to you at birth, what zip code you're born into, and what environment you are raised in. I feel like a lot of people have been raised in the wrong environment, and I'm just going to show you guys, there's more out there. There's more options in life. And, yeah, so let me know in the comments, are you finding yourself in the same positions as these individuals? Let us know. And are you guys having an easy time? Even the people who aren't struggling, let your voice be heard. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like. And if you want to see content like this, well, you probably watched it all the way through the end, so I'm probably just in your algorithm anyway, so you might as well subscribe. And, yeah. I think that's it. I hope you guys have a good day.